say, to be met with this many billboards, you can't even imagine how many there were to start with. But it's I wonder. A couple of my friends moved here, and I thought, oh well, maybe, but no. I don't think so. Well, out of Pahrump and driving across what much of the country I've driven across looks like. I'm glad to be back in Nevada. I might today. I usually try to stay at 4 hours. That's when I find myself getting tired of driving. But I might push it to 6 today and go ahead and get into Carson City. As you can see, there's some heavy clouds. We're dealing with wind. It doesn't feel too bad here, but the gusts are supposed to get up to 50 miles an hour at around Tonopah. And that's why I was going to stop there tonight and just kind of ride it out in a hotel room. Last night was windy, but I pointed my car into the wind and it wasn't so bad. I could see dust devils coming up through the windows, outside, but I could see them through the windows. But it wasn't too bad. It was cold though, got down to freezing. And there was prediction of snow, so once again I'm scurrying to try to get away from weather. It's up to 52 where I am now, which is just out of Pahrump, heading for, I think Beatty might be next, but I don't know, that might have been at the last turn. So I'm heading for Tonopah. So I've got a couple hours before I get there, then I'll take a break and I'll see how I feel about continuing on. It'd be nice to be at Betsy's. Shared a few presents with me that I clean up, but nonetheless, small space living, tiny space living, minuscule living, those kind of presents have consequences and odor. So we'll see how we go today. I'm on State Highway 95, I think. Anyway, lots of nothing. If you think of habitats as nothing. Signs saying look out for donkeys and horses, which I'm doing, but I haven't seen any wild horses or any wild donkeys. I have seen a lot of rocks, mountains made out of interesting rock slabs, and makes me wonder as I drive what they're composed of. I bought a book on geology, or maybe it was a little fold out, but doesn't give me as much information as I'd like. So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to study before my next trip. But then, after you've driven across desert, and maybe one or two cars, you start coming to human habitation, and it does stand out in the desert. Not always in an attractive way. Big on billboards. Oh man, forgot where billboards were banned. I think probably California. That makes the most sense. But what a pleasure to come into a town and seeing the trees be the tallest things. But in this day and age, we want things like radio towers and cell phone towers. And I may have already talked about this, but I've been amused to see when they've tried to disguise them, painting them like a coniferous tree, trying to blend in. The best one I saw was making it look like a palm tree, and they had palm trees lower than it, but around it. And I thought that was one of the more successful. I have police behind me, so I better watch my went to a gas station and people were brushing snow and ice off their cars, but I couldn't get a clear idea if they were coming from the east or coming from the north. But it is 36 degrees. I saw frost on the road between Gold Mine and Tonopah, but it does not look good ahead, and I'm sure hoping